You don't want to be a member of this club, but the odds are you're in it. You may not even know you're a member. We're talking about the Imposter Syndrome Club. Today, I'm going to tell you how to overcome imposter syndrome. First, we're going to talk a little bit about what it is. Statistics show that 30% of high achievers deal with imposter syndrome, while 70% of adults experience it at some point in their lives. You know the feeling. Even if you don't know the name, you may rack up accomplishment, but inside you're asking yourself, am I a fraud? Am I cut out for this? When will they find out? How am I fooling everyone? Am I really good enough to do this? Imposter syndrome is the nagging belief you're pulling a fast one, despite a heap of evidence of your ability. Let's just say you've clocked an ultramarathon, but you can't shake the thought that you've bamboozled everyone into thinking you're a runner. That's imposter syndrome. And trust me, I've been exactly where you are. My friend Brad Barrett is the co-founder and host of Choose F5, one of the world's highest impact podcasts. Every day he has an I'm not good enough or I'm not doing enough thought run through his head. It also strikes close to home. Objectively, I've achieved a lot of wins. CFO, father, Ironman, ultramarathon, wrote a first novel, launched a podcast, 29-year relationship. I've achieved a high net worth, and every single day I feel like I'm a fraud. Imposter syndrome can show itself in so many different ways. You have overwork, fear of failure, rejecting praise. You think it's luck instead of ability, and it undermines achievements. Let me ask you some questions. Do you burn the midnight oil to cover up your perceived inadequacies? Maybe you think that if you work twice as hard, nobody will understand that you're an imposter. You're always on edge, thinking you're going to drop the ball. Everyone will see you, fraud you are. When people compliment your work, you bat it away, thinking they're just being nice. You can't accept compliments because you can't acknowledge capable. You believe you're where you are solely because of luck. You can't acknowledge your skills and hard work have allowed you to achieve what you've achieved in life. You write off your achievements as a fluke or suggest anyone could have done what you did. Every one of these applies to me. Imposter syndrome changes its mask to fit the situation. It can show up as the expert genius, soloist, superhero, perfectionist. The expert. You feel you need to know everything before you start a project and constantly look for new certifications or training to improve your skills. The genius. You judge your competence based on ease and speed as opposed to your efforts. If you take a long time to master something, you feel shame. The soloist. You feel you must accomplish tasks on your own. And if you need to ask for help, you think it proves you're a fraud. The superhero. You push yourself to work harder than everyone else to prove you're not an imposter. You're the first in, last out, and always at work. And then we have the perfectionist. You set incredibly high goals, then beat yourself up when you don't achieve them. For example, this is the person who's devastated by a 98% on a test because it wasn't perfect. Acknowledge it. You aren't alone. I'm going to repeat that one again. You aren't alone. The first step to overcoming imposter syndrome is to recognize it and name it, to get power over it. Call it out when you see it. Remind yourself it's a universal experience. Everyone at some point feels like they're faking. Talk about it. None of us should suffer in silence. If this is something that 70% of us have felt, there's someone out there who's going through the same thing you are. Have a conversation. Sharing your feeling can be therapeutic. Talking to friends or mentors about your self-doubts helps normalize them. And you might find that many of your peers feel the same way you do. Here are 10 tricks that I'm going to show you to help you with imposter syndrome. Reframe your mind. Language matters. Practice reframing your thoughts. Negative self-talk feeds imposter syndrome. Instead of saying, I lucked out, say, I worked hard for this and deserve it. Small changes in how you talk to yourself can lead to a big shift in how you're going to feel. Embrace the journey. Instead of focusing on being an expert, shift your focus to becoming a life learner. This mindset can help reduce the fear of being exposed as an imposter and increase your comfort with growth and development. Celebrate your success. Keep a record of your achievements and revisit them regularly. Use this success journal as a tangible reminder of your capabilities when imposter syndrome strikes. Ask yourself if they're competent. We often think people will find out we're a fraud. You need to ask yourself whether the people who are going to find out are competent. Think about it for a second. If the people you work for are intelligent, competent, and capable, then they would have found you out already. That's the key. They haven't found you out. They haven't found you out because you're capable, because you are not an imposter. Intelligent, competent, and capable people have found you to be competent. So you need to feel that same way too. Assess the evidence. It's time for a simple breakdown. On 1 second of a page, I want you to write down evidence that you're inadequate. On the other side of the page, I want you to write down evidence that you're competent and capable of doing what you're doing. Writing this list out and reviewing it after time has passed can help you bring perspective to the situation. Find a mentor. A mentor can provide the reassurance and share their own experience with imposter syndrome, and they can offer you a fresh perspective. Their feedback can help validate your abilities and achievements. Practice self-care. Regular exercise, a healthy diet, sufficient sleep, and mindfulness activities like meditation or yoga can help you maintain a positive mood and reduce feelings of imposter syndrome. Professional help. If imposter syndrome is causing significant stress or it's hindering your performance, consider seeking help from a mental health professional. Cognitive behavioral therapy, as an example, can be particularly effective in managing imposter syndrome. Above all, don't let it get in your way. Even feeling imposter syndrome every day of my life, simply push through it. In my mind, this is what Steven Pressfield often refers to as the resistance, and we can't let the resistance get in our way. Positively, you'll often get imposter syndrome because you're challenging your comforts, which is where you want to be to succeed in life. Remember, it does not define you. What defines you is how you show up, your actions, and how you help other people. Until next time, I'm Clint Murphy, and this is The Growth Guide.